DOC, what's good?
What's up with you, bro?
Oh man, it is such an honor for us to finally talk. I think the highlights of my career was the DJ Yella interview and now this, because like we were talking offline, NWA is my favorite group ever. Period.
It was a great group.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's start in the beginning. How did you end up hooking up with Dre initially?
There was a mutual friend in Dallas who had worked with Lonzo in some capacity as a DJ.
Uh-huh.
And when the Boys in the Hood record started to get some action,
Yeah.
this dude brought those guys to Dallas.
Uh-huh.
And so that's how, I met the guy. And through just a bunch of different situations, we ended up working together.
Okay. Because you were originally part of the Feel a Fresh crew.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember there was the NWA and the Posse.
Right.
Record. But I guess that kind of came out later because it was sort of pieced together from different
Listen,
projects.
There was a lot of music being made by a lot of groups.
Yeah.
And the people that control that music put their record out. I didn't know anything about that record.
Okay.
And I didn't know I was in the Posse. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So from my understanding, Macola and whoever was in the chair of power at that time just put these records out and put them together. And
But the first official project was it Eazy Does It or
yeah.
Eazy Does It was the first project that came out.
Yeah.
And then Straight Outta Compton came out.
Right.
But you came in and you started working on Eazy Does It.
Right.
All right. How was it really being in the studio initially with NWA and Eazy and everything else like that? For example, I heard Eazy was very offbeat, initially.
Yeah, the guy's nuts. He was a cool kid, really strong character. Didn't have a lot of talent, but the it that makes you a star was him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were all really, I would say, well, I can only speak for myself. I was really just trying to copy Eazy's swag, When I first got out here, I was trying to do what Eric did,
Yeah.
He was a real soldier. And he helped these guys do some pretty incredible things. It was really cool working with him.
Okay. Now you wrote We Want Eazy. What else did you write on Eazy's album?
Still Talking Shit, Easier Said Than Done. And there may be a couple more, man. I'd have to see the track listing. It's been a long time.
Now, you said in an interview that like Ice Cube was writing for Eazy as well.
Mm-hmm. We all were.
You all were, right?
Yeah.
But it was mostly you and Ice Cube?
No, we all were.
Everyone was coming together.
Well, me, Cube, and Ren.
Okay, right.
Yeah, we were the writers.
But you were saying in an interview once that Ice Cube's lyrics were all about murdering you and leaving you in a trash can and so forth, whereas you were more kind of radio friendly with your approach?
Well, you're right and wrong. Ice Cube's lyrics were about the neighborhood and things that went on in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. When I wrote, it was just imagination because I didn't live in that neighborhood. So my idea was to try to make Eazy as palatable as Cube was on any given track, knowing that Eazy didn't have Cube's power. You know what I mean? So I tried to make his stuff funny and charming to people that were outside of his neighborhood. You know what I mean? The young white kids in the suburbs who was really digging that music. I was rapping to them.
Right, and I was one of those white kids in the suburbs.
I can dig it.
Digging that music. I grew up in San Mateo, for example, in high school, and that was the biggest thing in my high school.
Yeah,
You know?
It was a big time, man. It was dope.
Yeah.
I really I cherish those memories. Not all of them are the best. I had to go through a whole bunch of really tough things, through the course of that history, but it was all worth it.
Well, you wrote We Want Eazy, and that was Eazy's biggest record.
That was the pop.
That was what got him on the radio. Right, because
Yeah,
Boys in the Hood was like the hood classics.
Yeah.
But they weren't playing that on the radio.
Right.
But We Want Easy.
You had to get him on the radio because he was it. But I knew how to get him on the radio. When I got here, about 3 weeks after I got here, that's when we went to, finally got to go to Audio Achievements, and Yella, Eazy and Ren was there. Q wasn't there then. And Dre pulled up the track, and I wrote the track. And we're talking about maybe 3 weeks after that, we kind of knew, you know what I mean? It's for the pop, you know what I mean?
Okay. The song comes out, it starts to blow up, they do the video, you're not in the video.
Right.
Why weren't you in the video?
You know what? I don't know, bro. You'd have to ask Eazy, and you can't, you know what I mean? So, because I was definitely trying to be in there, but I wasn't.
Well, not being in the video is one thing, but you actually weren't in the credits.
Yeah, that was tough.
Okay. Why do you think the paperwork wasn't really done during that time and that type of thing? Because I don't think anyone's disputed the fact that you wrote these songs.
Well, we were kids, man. You know, kids don't know anything about business. You know, we were just trying to do the best that we could, but somebody knew. You know, it just wasn't me.
I read an interview in Playboy magazine recently that said that you actually signed off your publishing for a gold chain.
No, that didn't happen, but it did happen. You know, there's I always see this picture. The guy's name is Matt McDaniels, and he was around back then. He filmed all the early interviews before the music came out, you know. And I always see this one thing where we walk in the studio and everybody walks past him and says their name, you know, and even me, not knowing where the hell I was or what the hell I was doing. But in that piece, I'm wearing a chain. That chain has my name, DOC, at the bottom of it. Now, we hadn't even released the NWA record at that point. But that chain is the chain you're speaking of, that they say I signed off on for music I hadn't even done yet, I guess, at that point. But no, man, I don't think if someone would have said to me, do you want to sign off all your publishing for this gold chain, I don't think, even being ignorant to the game, I don't think I would have said that.
Well, so what did this Playboy article refer to? Because in the article, it literally said...
Well, it's talking about the rumor. That was the rumor that got started because everybody knew I'd written the records and wasn't getting paid for it.
Okay.
So...
But the gold chain story ain't true?
No.
Okay. Because I mean, I read it a few. I think the Ego Trip...
No, Eazy bought the gold chain for sure.
But you didn't sign off your deal
for it. They just took it, bro.
Okay, so but you didn't sign any paperwork.
No.
So you didn't get paid for Eazy Does It, Straight Outta Compton, For Life, your own album?
Well, after the two first records, the publishing splits got corrected.
Okay.
And I'm not exactly sure how it did, but it did. And some of that stuff started to be getting taken care of. But the damage was really already done as far as publishing is concerned, because it was those first two records that really cemented a lot of the positive income, you know what I mean, as far as this movement was concerned. Even this movie that just came out.
Right, exactly, because all the music's being used once again. So Eazy-E, Eazy Does It comes out first. Straight Outta Compton comes out next. Which songs did you write on Straight Outta Compton?
Man, you'd have to give me a track listing again. Straight Outta Compton, Fuck the Police, Parental Discretion Advised.
Let's see, I'm looking at the track listing. Gangster, Gangster, that was Ice.
That's Cube.
If It Ain't Rough?
That's Ren.
Parental Discretion Advised, you said.
Yeah.
Express Yourself.
That's Cube.
Compton's in the House.
That's Dre.
I Ain't the One.
That's Cube.
Dope Man.
That's Cube.
Quiet on Set.
That's Ren.
Okay, so you got a few.
Yeah.
Few on there.
Yeah.
Okay. So You guys put out Straight Outta Compton. And then you guys go on the tour. Were you on the tour with them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I stole 7 minutes at the beginning of their show, no matter whose tour it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chuck D and Public Enemy and LL and Run and all these guys, and I get the first 7 minutes of NWA set, no matter where we are.
Dope.
And oh man, it was the best ever.
I bet.
Greatest, because I didn't have a record out. You know what I mean?
Right. And these were like stadiums and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
man, it was freaking cool. Because as soon as the Doc and the Doctor, as soon as that was the first song I did, right? As soon as that 808 hit, boom, it was just like pandemonium every time, and they didn't know who the hell I was. It was really
didn't know the song or nothing.
It was dope.
Absolutely. Now, Arabian Prince was in the group during this time.
Yes, I don't remember a lot of Arabian Prince being around when I was around.
Okay, but he was, and he's actually on the album cover for
Yeah,
Straight Outta
yeah.
Compton, and he did contribute. I think Panic Zone was his song and so forth. Now during this time, what was your relationship with Jerry Heller, or did you even have one?
Yeah, I really, he was the old white guy that was around, that was handling business, and
Okay.
and so I just followed suit. If all of those guys did it, I did it too, whatever that was,
Okay.
where he's concerned.
Right, and you guys were having the time of your lives.
Yeah, man. Nobody was thinking about business except for Jerry and Eric.
Okay. Well, Arabian Prince was the first person to leave. I interviewed him recently, and he left the tour first. So were you the first NWA member to leave?
Yeah. Yeah, I was the one that left. And I remember I left, and then we had a meeting where I had to go out to Jerry's house, and everybody was sitting there. And it was just like a mutual thing, like I'm out.
Was there any talk after Arabian Prince left, or was it just...
I wasn't around when we went on the road. Me and Arabian Prince didn't have a whole lot of
interaction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't remember that.
Okay.
A lot.
But you and Cube had a lot of interaction?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cube decided to leave the group.
Oh yeah.
How did you feel personally when it was told that Cube's leaving?
Being in the moment, I was Dre's guy. You know what I mean? So wherever Dre's head was, that's pretty much where my head was. And you kind of know what Dre's head was, but I thought they lost it, you know what I mean? Because Cube was the spirit.
He was Ice Cube writes the rhymes that I say, like, you know what I mean? Like,
not even the fact that he wrote the rhymes, it was the
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that made NWA what it was from my perspective was the angle that Cube approached his songs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, Ice Cube had such a powerful delivery, and the rhyme structure and everything else like that it like wasn't really a build up to be an Ice Cube fan. You were a fan for the first time you heard it.
Right.
Yeah.
And from the first line.
Yeah.
It's always his first line. You know what I mean?
Always.
Yeah, man.
So Ice Cube leaves the group, and I mean, overall, what was the feeling in NWA at that point? Because you guys just lost a key person.
Well, those guys was ready to march forward.
Yeah. So he leaves the group, and then you start work on your. Did you work on your album before or after the tour?
I worked on my album during the tour.
During the tour. So you guys were recording on the bus?
Whenever we had a few days, we'd go in and tackle something.
Okay.
And yeah, we were pretty quick, Dre and I. Like, we really were a perfect complement. You know what I mean? Like, his stuff fit me perfectly. I could dance in it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he would have ideas. Hey, I got an idea that you did this, and I would do it, and bam, we'd record it, and that was it.
Right.
I recorded the 12 songs or whatever. Those were the only songs we recorded, ever.
For No One Could Do It Better?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you guys had 30, 40 songs and you trimmed it down to 12?
No, we just did those records.
Okay.
On the fly, and that was the record.
Because after Straight Outta Compton was No One Could Do It Better.
Right.
Now I'm gonna tell you what my favorite song on. Well, I mean, "It's Funky Enough" was my favorite song on that
Classic
album.
record.
Classic record. Why did you decide to rap in a Jamaican accent?
I was drunk.
And there you have it.
There it is.
You were drunk.
Yeah.
Right.
I had chased Dre around for about 3 weeks to make this beat, and he couldn't. There was no room to sample it in the record, misdemeanor record, Silvers. And he told me no 1,000 times. I just bugged him until he said okay, and he was really mad about that. So when he finally got it done, he told me to go lay something. I didn't have anything. I hadn't written anything, so that actually, "It's Funky Enough" was a rap that I had written maybe a couple months earlier to whole nother beat. And when "It's Funky Enough" started playing, it sounded Jamaican in my head. And so the patois just came out.
Right.
And those guys got all excited, and Drake said, "Keep going." So I just ran through the whole record like that.
With the Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
Which from face value, it doesn't sound like it's gonna work, but it just perfectly worked.
It was
And,
cool.
you never did it again.
No, it was one take.
Right. It wasn't like, okay, well now I'm gonna rap in a Jamaican accent every song. No, it was just that song.
That was that drunk. The alcohol at that time had me on this line.
On this level.
And it said, "Do that."
Okay. Well, my second favorite song on it was the grand finale.
Great record.
Incredible record. And that was featuring NWA. That was when everyone kind of got to jump on the record and do their thing.
That was the last one we all did together.
The last record all of y'all ever did together
Yeah.
was the grand finale.
Yeah.
Wow, I never even thought of it like that. Okay. So that album comes out, debuts at #1?
I don't know.
Something like that.
It did pretty good.
Did pretty good. Within 3 weeks it went gold.
Yeah.
How did it feel to have your own #1 record, gold record?
Man, it was crazy. Coming from Dallas, Texas, where they don't get a lot of shine there. They still don't to this day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because Houston always pops up here and there. Has its runs, but not so much Dallas.
I always thought I was that guy. You know what I mean? So really, I was up here trying to get that, but history was meant to go a different path. But it felt great to have that record out and people respond to it the way they did. It was insane, and that was probably the beginning of the end, so to speak, really, because I think I might have started to believe a lot of the stuff that people were saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You start partying a lot harder?
Oh yeah.
Drinking a lot more?
Oh yeah.
Drugs?
Yeah. That's when that happened.
Yeah.
Because it was all so fast.
Right.
I didn't know anything about that stuff from where I came from. But when I got to California, it was just beautiful women everywhere, and everybody was trying to, and so I accepted that path, and what happened. It was a serious lesson for a young man at that point in his life. It was a huge blow.
The night of the accident, you actually got pulled over before the accident happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right before.
Talk about.
I used to have pictures, bro. I took pictures with the police.
Okay, so
I used to have pictures.
You got pulled. You got pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
Because you were drunk.
Drunk and high.
Drunk and high.
Yeah. I just left these, ladies and doing these things and driving home. And I was driving through Beverly Hills and ran a red light and the lights hit me. And, I did some maneuvering, but they caught me.
Oh, so you tried to do a getaway?
Man, oh, yeah. It was great.
High speed chase?
Oh yeah, well not high speed, but it's pretty funny.
Okay.
But they called me, they pulled me over, and I was in such a good mood. I just started telling them jokes, you know, and it bugged them out, you know. And they laughed, and we kicked it, you know.
They knew who you were?
No, but they knew who NWA was. They saw the records in the back seat.
You had the gold
Yeah,
records?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you actually took pictures with the cops?
Yeah, with the records, bro. Yeah, it was funny. And they let me go. And if they'd have took my ass to jail that night.
Because you were DUI?
Yes. If they'd have took me to jail that night, I probably wouldn't be here today at the rate I was going. Because nobody could tell me anything at that point, you know. I had the best record in the country. I came from nothing.
Yeah.
Now I'm on top of the world. Nobody really helped me do it. Even when I was doing it, I felt by myself because I couldn't really attach myself to the NWA thing the way I wanted to. You know what I mean? I always got, you're not in the group. You know, and that stung, you know, so.
But you had a solo album out. It's not like Cube or Ren or Dre had a solo album at that point.
Well, from my perspective, we were all together in this.
Yeah.
So my win is your win. Your win is my win. I don't want to separate us and compete with one another because that was the nature of hip hop in those days, you know. So, but I took on that attitude shortly after. Let me show you guys how this thing is supposed to go, you know. And I thought my record was probably the hottest thing since sliced bread, bro. And nobody could tell me no different, you know.
So you ended up falling asleep after the police let you go. You fell asleep behind the wheel, and you hit a tree.
Yeah, actually, I hit the center divider and flew out of the back window of the car and ended up in a tree. Yeah.
I had read that your teeth were actually in
the tree.
In the tree, they had to pull your teeth out of the actual tree.
I don't know if they pulled them out or not, bro. But that's what I heard. The teeth were in the tree. And when I woke up, I didn't have any. So they had to be somewhere.
Okay. Now, were your vocal cords damaged in that accident, or were they damaged in the hospital afterwards?
They were actually damaged. And this I didn't find out too much later.
Yeah.
They were actually damaged in the hospital afterwards.
Okay.
And that damage was multiplied by actions that I took trying to expedite the healing process.
So explain what happened in the hospital with your voice.
When you have an accident as critical as mine was, that I would imagine that the immediate response is, let's try to save this person's life.
Yeah.
We're going to sedate him or her. We're going to trach them and do what we do.
Trach
right?
is a tube in your throat?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I was on Lord knows what, and they didn't want to risk, you know, so when they wanted to trach, I was fighting. That I can actually remember. It was a real struggle. And when they were shoving it down, they just dislodged one of the cords, which I found out later in life is actually a pretty common thing. You know what I mean? And if I'd have just left it alone, maybe a year or so later, it might have come back, you know.
What happened, though?
Shortly after that, they wanted me to continue to perform the record, right? But I couldn't talk at all, you know? Yeah. So I thought the doctor said if you get the scar tissue removed, then it'll help expedite the healing process. Maybe I can get something back faster. I didn't want to go lip sync the records, you know, because back then in hip hop, realism meant everything.
Everything.
You know, so I just didn't have the wherewithal to pull it off mentally. So I went and had the operation, and I found this out many years later, that the doctor that removed that scar tissue removed too much, And so it was never even possible for it to ever heal like it once was. You know, that dream was dead after that point.
And that was because you wanted to hurry up and get back on stage.
Probably a lot of athletes go through stuff like that, bro.
Absolutely.
You know? Not that I'm an athlete, but I can hope a little bit. Don't worry about it.
How did the rest of NWA react to the accident?
I think it really bothered them. I think it hurt them as much as it hurt me. You know, as much as it hurt anybody that was really like following that guy, that movement, that energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that record was really something special, bro.
Yeah.
And we weren't even trying. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Lord, you know what I mean? If we'd had a real chance to sit down and try, you know, no cursing, you know, no derogatory stuff, just great MCing.
Absolutely.
So
I bought the album.
I did too.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good album.
It was a good album.
It was a lot of good albums out that year. That was the De La Soul's record came out that year. I think Slick Rick was out that year.
Oh yeah, great time for hip hop.
Oh man, it was great.
So the accident happened. Your voice is hurt, but it seems like you're still in the group.
I am still in the group.
Yeah, you're still in NWA, and it seemed like everyone, you know, Dre is still fucking with you.
Oh yeah.
You know, Dre never dismissed you or anything else like that.
No, Dre's my guy.
Yeah.
You know.
So after that, 100 Miles and Running came out. That was the next project. Okay, and what were the songs that you helped write on that album?
Man.
The track listing.
Yeah.
Hold on. 100 Miles and Running.
Yeah.
Just Don't Bite It.
Ran.
Yeah. Surprise. Part 2.
No. They give me credit for that, but I can't remember.
Real. N-words.
Yeah.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, you're all over this.
Yeah.
Thing. Okay.
Well, Cube was gone.
Cube was gone.
I mean, so I had to make up the space.
Okay. So were you the main writer, or is it you and Rand were kind of?
Yeah, me and Rand, like whoever, like, there's never a main writer. Whoever writes the best, that's what we gonna use.
Oh, so you guys will write the same? Will basically compete against each other for the verse? In a way.
Sure.
Sometimes you would win.
That's how you get good, bro.
Right.
That's how you get good. I can remember Cube had to go back to the drawing board a few times.
Like, nah, bro.
I mean, but so did I. You know,
Right.
so did I. We pushed each other like that. And it was a friendly competition because we knew that we were great. Like, we were great.
Okay. Now, on 100 Miles and Running, that was the first time y'all took a shot at Cube.
Yeah.
I think Dre called him Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the feeling about Cube at this time? Because I think what America's Most Wanted was out by this time, or
Yeah.
yeah, which was an incredible album.
Great.
Incredible album.
Great. Cube showed so much poise, man. What he pulled off was he allowed the world to recognize that when it's all said and done, this is the song business. It's not that this guy makes dope beats business. It's not this guy has a powerful voice business. It's the song business, words and music that come together.
Yeah.
And they have a life of their own after they marry, and you let that shit go, you know?
Yeah, because America's Most Wanted was all Bomb Squad, East Coast production,
But it was great.
it was incredible. It was honestly, by far, I feel like that's Cube's best solo album. Period. I don't think anything comes even close.
Well,
to
he
it.
was young and super hungry, man. You know, he had a point to prove.
Oh yeah.
And he's one of the great ones. He's definitely one of the GOATs, you know, so.
Now, but that came out. I mean, were you guys basically like, all right, we're gonna diss Ice Cube and we're gonna set this off? Or?
No, we weren't like that.
Okay.
Even if that's what happened, we weren't like that. Maybe a couple of those guys felt some kind of way, you know what I mean? But I like Cube. I fuck with Cube all the way. And when No Vaseline came out, nigga, I rode with that, you know what I mean? That was the shit. It's all about the song, man. It's a great song.
Okay.
I always
Right,
say
because he responded with No Vaseline, which goes down as, you hear it as the number 1 or number 2 greatest diss record of
gotta
all time.
be, man. Got
Because
to.
it's always No Vaseline, hit 'em up. Some people say No Vaseline, some people say no, hit 'em up, but we'll say hit 'em up, but at the end of the day, those are considered the 2 big ones.
It was a great record, and I loved it.
You didn't get mentioned on No Vaseline.
No, because Cube knew. Cube knew. Like, you're not a part of that, even though you're a part of that, because I'm just doing my job.
I mean, Yella gets mentioned.
Well,
Yella on your team, so you lose it.
All those guys are old friends. I was just the guy that came in to help manifest the dream, if you will. And we built a friendship, but those guys went back. They struggled together.
Right.
It popped when I got here. Yeah. But there was an NWA at least a couple years before I got here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That was kind of build itself. You know what I mean?
Were you glad that you weren't on No Vaseline?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were you, the first time you listened to the song, were you just like, please don't mention me?
Well, you know what? I think Cube, because at that time, I was a disabled rapper. I couldn't fight back, and so he would have seemed like a bully to push me around.
That's what it was?
I'm hoping that's what it was. Either way, I'm glad he left DOC out of the picture. No, Cube has always been real stand up with me. You know what I mean? And he goes out of his way at times to mention me and put me in the light. He and Snoop are really great about that. And I'm thankful and grateful to those guys for that. I love them for that.
So I interviewed Yella, and he said that
It's just like, okay, he got us on that one. That's all. I even told Cube this a couple of months ago. I said, you got us.
right.
That's it. We didn't like, oh man, nah.
Shit. I bet a whole bunch of people felt like that. It was a great record, man. You can't look. He tore that ass up with that one.
The way he dissected every person, and you know what I'm saying? Like, the beat switched up and all types of shit. So
Him and Jinx.
yeah. So you're co-signing what Yella said. Everyone in NWA felt like, okay.
Man, I don't know what those guys felt. All I know is I loved it.
You loved it.
Absolutely.
Every freaking bit of it.
How did Eazy feel about it?
I don't know.
Because it was really mostly aimed at Eazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he liked it very much.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I said, those guys were a lot closer to Eric than I was. I was the new guy. And which probably made it easier for the business to go the way that it did in my case, but hell, it ended up going that way in all their cases, so it was just, it was a moment in time that should have, could have been a whole lot more, than what it was.
Now, the Compton album comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that this was coming out?
Sure.
Or were you just working on music?
No, this one was coming. Remember I told you earlier when we were working on Detox, you could tell Dre wasn't there. Mm-hmm. But when I came back this time with the kid,
Justice,
he was there in that space that wanted to create. And so my job was to help, and as per my usual, I just sat next to him and pushed him up when I felt that was necessary, and pulled him down when I thought that was necessary, and tried to lend my best advice in making the record.
So you're actually, you could say you're one of the greatest ghostwriters of all time.
I don't know. But I'm a ghostwriter because I've written songs for other guys that turned out to be great records.
When this whole thing came out around Drake, and supposedly there was someone else who wrote his stuff. There were some reference tracks that leaked and so forth. And a lot of people look at that as, you can't put Drake in the all-time, the best all-time category because of that. How do you feel, from your point of view, as a ghostwriter, when it comes to that type of thing in hip-hop?
You can put Drake wherever you want if that is your opinion.
Yeah.
Because everybody got one. Drake's great.
Yeah.
I like his records.
Me too.
You know what I mean? And my kids like his records. And Erica did a remix to one of his records. You know what I mean? So the guy's a great artist. He deserves every accolade he's ever gotten. And that's just what that is, And the guys that helped him, hopefully their paperwork was right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they benefited from that, because this is all about us building wealth together. Like, the credit, I'm the greatest, I did this, It's never one person. It's never, ever one person.
Ice Cube?
Never one person.
Have you ever seen anyone help Ice Cube out with his?
Sure, Jinx and the Bomb Squad, and it's always.
I see what you're saying.
It's always more.
But Ice Cube has spoken out against writing by committee. He even said that in an interview. He said, I don't, when I say rappers, I mean people who write their own verses. I'm not into this writing by committee.
Well, he's granted that opinion, and it's valid.
Yeah.
I am one who believes, and I told you this earlier, that it's the song business, bro.
Yeah.
It's not the who gives a fuck who did this or that, because at the end of the day, it's just words and music. They've got to come together.
Well, speaking of Ice Cube, and this is something that I've discussed in some of the interviews, like, me and Scarface actually talked about this on camera recently. In the environment where I grew up, I was in the suburbs, and when I first heard Ice Cube, you couldn't tell me this wasn't the biggest gangster on the planet. Like the delivery with the lyrics and the anger behind it was like, okay, this is like a triple OG. But for example, I talked to Alonzo Williams, who gave Ice Cube his first record deal.
Right.
And who signed him at like 15 years old, who said...
Ice Cube was a great kid, just a nice kid.
So Ice Cube wasn't gangbanging at all?
No.
Was it a little weird hearing about all this gangbanging stuff from someone that doesn't gangbang at all?
Fuck me up.
Yeah?
What the fuck, who? I'm like, you got to be bullshit.
Like songs like Gangster, like I thought Ice Cube was the most gangster motherfucker on the planet.
You know what?
I thought Ice Cube come in here and kill everybody. You know what I mean?
He's a great actor.
When it comes to hip hop and the keeping it real thing and so forth, where's the line drawn in terms of how you feel about it?
I think when you're talking about songwriting, there is an element of truth in everybody's record, no matter how gangster you may be or not be. And authenticity has its place, But at the end of the day, it's just a song, bro.
Yeah.
And unless it's really about something powerful, like police brutality, then it's meant to entertain. KRS is meant to edutain. But unless you're really trying to do something with the record, it's just entertainment. I used to sit around and Eazy would have to answer questions about the lyrics that I'd written. And he would answer it just sharp, we just, this is what we do, we tell the street. And I'd be sitting there thinking, that ain't why I wrote that,
Right, because Eazy-E played it up.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about how can you make Eazy an icon and then not want to give another guy credit because somebody wrote his words? Everybody wrote Eazy's words. He never wrote any of his own
Eazy never
words.
wrote himself.
No.
Yeah, that's what I heard also. I mean, even after Dre and all y'all left, I think it was like
Yeah, that wasn't
Dre still was the one who wrote Compton City G's and everything else like that.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, but that wasn't Eazy's thing. That wasn't his gift,
Yeah.
Eazy's gift was that if you were at a party and he walked in and you were way over there, you would know Eazy came in. I don't know how you know.
Yeah.
but you would know Eazy was there. You know what I mean? The energy would shift. The dude was a powerful dude, you know. And he did some pretty amazing shit.
Hip hop is just almost, but people look at it differently. For example, Johnny Cash could say that he killed a man and watch him die, and no one's going to be looking up his criminal record to
Right.
see if it actually happened. But there's always been this thing about studio gangsters. There's always
What
been
you talking
a thing.
about? No, that's an American issue. It has nothing to do with music. That's
Yeah.
that's one of America's ills. It's not centered around the music itself. Like hip hop didn't come up with these vile images, and so people may use them to justify their profiling of someone, but that's not a hip hop issue. That's not a rap issue. That's an American issue.
So you think that America pushes these things down your throat, and hip hop is just a reflection of that?
Well, sex sells.
Violence sells. It's everywhere. It's on TV. It's every movie, every James Bond record, movie, every, cartoon.
Yeah.
The kid is the thing, whatever. It ain't even humans no more. It's a thing now, and the thing is smashing the other thing. And you teaching your kids this kind of stuff from an early age.
So what was different about the second NWA album from the first one, in terms of how it came together? I mean, clearly, Ice Cube is gone this time, but you guys are still on fire.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same. Nothing was the same after Cube left. It was a different energy. We did it different, even the beats seemed like they would have been better suited for a DLC record,
Because that was where the G-Funk kind of started, with the synthesizers and everything else like that, I felt.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
But it was a lot of high-powered, fast-moving, nothing really dirty. Everything was just high energy and moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I guess that's where the G-Funk started, Layla and them like to say, well, Layla and them was around then, so yeah.
So once that album came out, did it feel like NWA was starting to sort of break apart at that point? Or was it during the album? Or at what point do you think that things started to sort of crumble?
When Cube left.
Okay. But then Dre left after the second NWA album.
Hey, it's money.
Okay.
It's all about money. It was all money. It's always money. The downfall of the music is somebody got to make money, which means somebody don't.
Or you could just split it fairly.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we lived in Peter Pan's world, that's probably what would happen. But this is America in real life, and business is a dirty thing. And it doesn't matter if it's 5 black kids from Compton or you're in Wall Street doing business with the Wolf, whoever that guy's name was. You're going to get it brought to you if you're not aware of what's going on, And so
Dre was unhappy about the money situation.
Yeah.
He spoke to you about it?
Should have been.
He spoke to you about it?
Sure.
And what was stopping the situation from getting worked out? Because ultimately,
that's not something I'm privy to. I just know it didn't get worked out.
Okay.
And so Dre and I began to focus as a unit on other things.
Okay. By that time, you and Suge were already close.
Yeah, Suge and I were already. A lot of the going overboard that I mentioned earlier, the drinking way too much, the partying way too much. Me and Suge became notorious in Hollywood.
Okay.
We went through a point where they banned us from every joint. You can go in, we'd be walking up to the thing and they'd be like, no, you know what I mean? #1 record or not, bro, you're not coming in here tonight.
Well, you said in the Playboy interview that you would go out and make a mess and Suge would beat people up
Oh, yeah.
over it.
I would make the mess and he would clean it up. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. When you say make a mess, give me an example.
I'm drunk and I'm walking into this club and I slap some guy's girl on her butt. And obviously he's going to not like that, you know. And my response would probably be something really vulgar and childish. And if, at that point he would have to make a move, you know. And none of those people probably even saw Suge till it was too late.
So it was too late.
And then his people and our people, it would be a big mashup. And then we all be running away from the club like kids, which we were basically. You know?
Okay.
21-year-old kid.
So Suge kind of got depicted sort of as a bodyguard sometimes, but he was just your friend.
Yeah.
That was just your homie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but he was kind of a bodyguard, though. He did play that role.
Okay.
And he enjoyed that. You know,
He liked that.
Suge was a big kid. He's a deviant. You know what I mean? He used to tell stories about pissing on football players' legs in the shower and thought that was just the funniest shit in the world. You know what I mean? He was just a deviant. He just liked to do crazy shit and thought it was funny, you know.
Now, how did the whole thing come together with Suge and Dre and you and David Kenner? Is that something that you facilitated, or was that something that Suge facilitated?
No. Kenner came much later. It was me, Suge, Dre, and a cat named Dick Griffey at first.
Dick Griffey of Solar Records?
Right.
Okay.
Rest in peace, guy. And we decided we would do business together, and we started this thing, you know.
And it was called Funky Enough Records?
No, Funky Enough was me and Suge's thing.
Okay.
Before this thing.
Okay, so originally you and Suge were going to form Funky Enough Records.
Right. And the wreck happened, and now I'm starting this spiral where I can't really exist without those other things. You know what I mean? And it's a really negative place to be in, but nobody can really get me out of it. I'm really upset because at that time, because my voice is gone, it's not coming back. These guys are going up and I'm going down, and I can't stop that spiral. You know what I mean? So, but when Dre fell into that situation with Eazy, and we decided that we were going to take another route, then it was easy to see that maybe I could pull myself out of this hole, right? But anybody that knows anything about substance abuse knows that unless you're willing to deal with the root cause of that problem, you're never going to be able to get past it. You know, so I was just an accident waiting to happen, really. But I was still functioning at a high level. So when Dre and I decided to do this label, it was called Future Shock. That's what Dre wanted to call it.
Future Shock
Future
Records.
Shock. Yeah, or some Future Shock Entertainment, something.
Okay.
And so,
like that's taken from Herbie Hancock. Herbie Hancock had a album called Future Shock, or a song called Future Shock.
Hey, Dre's the music guy.
Yeah.
So Kenner came much later when Future Shock began its transformation into Death Row.
Okay.
That's when Kenner came, because there was a guy named Harry O, and Kenner came through that guy.
Right. I interviewed Freeway Ricky recently.
Ah, that's dope.
He said he was there. So you were actually there when Suge Knight, Harry O made their initial deal. Met.
I know how they met. I know the whole thing.
Okay.
Harry O was doing an album on Lydia, his wife.
Right.
So me and him sell these. I tell him, I say, look, you doing a An album on Litty, you better use Dr. Dre on that album. You know him and Eazy fell out. So he ain't working right now.
Okay.
So Harry took that advice and started looking for Dr. Dre.
And Suge Knight.
And Suge Knight was his manager.
So how did Suge really attach himself to Dre at that point?
Well, we were already attached in business.
In business?
You know, yeah, we were already attached because we were doing business together.
Well, but how was Suge involved in it though?
Well, I put Suge and Dre together
Okay.
so that we can build this other thing. You know, Dre, we could do it. This guy can help us.
Well, what part did Suge really play? Like, you know, because we understand what Dre's part is.
Right.
Dre's the music guy.
Suge facilitated some of the business, some of the things we needed in business to move forward, right?
Okay.
Through Dick Griffey, right?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Dick Griffey was involved at this
Oh,
point.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it was going to be a solo records thing.
No.
No.
It was going to be whatever the fuck we wanted it to be, but we had to get it established first. So we built this company and started making deals to facilitate the use of making these records. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And once things started going rolling, Snoopy came in, then Dick helped bring deals to the table that brought money in and was all to make the records.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so as the record started to pull itself together, then things started to change on the business front.
Right.
And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know when the moment was that Dre and Suge, you know, went like that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I was no longer really involved in those conversations, and I was in a bad spot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because by that time, all these guys started to come around looking like they had just gotten out. They was on the yard or something.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to feel super uncomfortable. That's when all the stuff that that I'd been writing about, it started to, you know, really show itself in my everyday life. You know what I mean? And it put me on my heels, you know, because I didn't know exactly what to do at that point. Like, I can't fight all these dudes by myself. And if Dre and I aren't on the same page, then I'm in a lose-lose kind of spot.
Well, why the name Death Row?
One of the girls who were around during that time just said the name, and it stuck.
Death Row.
Yeah, it fit.
Quite a name.
Oh yeah, it totally fit. You know.
Now, did you feel that, considering that, you know, there was the Funky Enough thing originally and you kind of facilitated also, that you should have been part of the business side of Death Row, like as a part owner or something like that? Or were you just like, I'm just rolling at this point? Because, you know, you came out of a situation where your business wasn't right.
Right. Well, actually, my business was never right.
Okay.
And I trusted. One thing about me, I'm a loyal guy. You know,
Seems like it.
That's the one string I can play is that I'm a loyal guy.
Yeah.
Like if I got it with me, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna take it to the grave with me. You know what I mean? Good or bad, because the choices I made led to those things. Those guys didn't make choices for me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was just in a bad spot, man. And Snoop always said, I got a lot of respect for you, man, because you're out here by yourself, you know. Your mama can't help you out here. And I dug that from Snoop. Like, he understood the position that I was in. That's why he really gravitated towards me.
Well, Snoop actually lived with you.
Yeah,
Snoop moved into your house.
yeah. And then I moved into his house.
Then you moved into his
maybe
house.
a year later.
Right.
Yeah.
So you and Snoop, you know, you were helping to really build Snoop into what he is today.
Oh, yeah, man. Me, Snoop, and Warren G.
Yeah.
You know, we spent a lot of time. And for me, it was about helping him. See, because Snoop was already the guy. He just didn't know like I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you knew right away when you heard Snoop? That
No,
like
didn't know right away. Dre did.
Dre did.
Yeah, Dre knew right away. And he sold me. And so when he sold me, then I took it upon myself, okay, this is my mission.
Okay.
My mission is to build him to be as confident as I was in what we're doing, you know.
Okay. And the outcome was incredible.
Told you he was already the guy. You know what I mean? I just helped him out.
Okay. But in the process of trying to get Death Row going, you, Dre, and Michelle A. were still under contract at Ruthless.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you saw how this situation was presented in the Straight Outta Compton movie, where Eazy-E showed up in the studio and Suge's dudes beat him up and made him sign something over. I've talked to a number of people around this situation. I talked to BG Knockout. I talked to...
I like him.
Yep. I talked to Cole 187.
I like him too.
I talked to Arabian Prince.
I like him too.
One thing that they all told me was that Eazy didn't get beat up. So you're saying that they pulled guns out on him
Yeah, absolutely.
and basically said, sign this.
Right.
Did Eazy get beat up like the movie show?
Nah, hell no.
No.
They didn't touch him.
They didn't touch him.
Nah.
He just told me like, dude coming at me in a certain way, and you know, I don't even really tripping, you know, but nobody gonna make me do nothing. We can agree to some, you know, that's
Okay.
what he said. No one's gonna make me do nothing, but we can agree to some stuff. But I don't know about the secret meetings that he never came back and told me anything.
I think they forced him to sign, but I don't think they beat him down.
I had heard, the story that I'd heard was they had like baseball bats and
Yeah.
metal pipes.
Yeah, I
and
heard
so
that,
forth. Yeah,
but
I didn't hear about the beat up part.
Yeah. Like when they was stomping him in the studio, I don't think that happened. And like I said, that's from what I hear from the people I know that was around at the time.
Yeah, I can pretty much, I can't attest to it. I don't know for sure, but from what I know, yeah, you wasn't going to beat him up. You know what I mean? If you did, it would be a couple of dead cats in the world. And if he had to be one of them, you know what I mean? That's what I got from him.
Right.
You know. But, it's a movie, man. You give a poetic license. As far as that movie is concerned, period, where all of those, you can tell from the stories I just told you.
Yeah.
But you give a poetic license. It's a movie about a moment in time for those men who executive produced the movie. And it was written, if you'll excuse me, probably by a European who, from my perspective, generally tends to write caricatures of what really took place in those times based on, whatever their idea of what we were then. But it was a great fucking movie. I didn't even go to the premiere. I went to the movies with my girl like a regular person, and I loved it.
Watching yourself on the screen.
It was cool, man. The guy did a great job. Marlon Yates Jr. And I'm indebted to him, because he made DLC kind of a cool dude.
Right. Did you talk to Suge about that Eazy situation in terms of what
No.
happened? No, you never questioned it.
Like Eric and I weren't as close as Eric and those other guys, and,
Okay.
and I just gave you 1,000 reasons why,
No, I feel you.
I respect those guys for the past, but I don't like it.
Yeah. The story that BG Knockout gave me on camera was that
Dre called him, to meet with him to sign over, sign him, get him out the contracts or release him or whatever. But when he get there, Suge was there. So they was in a hotel room. Suge had dudes hiding in the closet under the bed. And when he get up there, Suge locked the door. All these cats come from under the bed and out the closet in the bathroom with guns. You know what I'm saying?
and Dre was in there?
Dre wasn't there.
Oh, Dre wasn't there at all.
Nah. Dre set it up though.
It don't sound nothing like Dre. It don't sound nothing like I've been doing that dude for a long time. And I've been really close for a long time, and that just don't sound like nothing he would do, bro.
Yeah. Does it sound like something Suge
I'm
would
not-
do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it definitely don't sound like some shit Dre would do.
Okay. Eazy-E ends up dying.
Yeah.
And what like I talked to Daz about this on camera. Like on the Chronic album, there was a Eazy-E AIDS joke. You made that comment in that skit about Eazy.
Yeah.
About bust your ass, HIV, pussy having, and then Eazy actually ended up dying from HIV.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you found out about it? Because obviously you didn't know nothing at the time, but
I didn't know nothing at the time. You know, it's a shame. You know, I just felt for him, and you know, rest in peace, Eazy-E. You know.
I know what you're speaking of.
you know what I'm talking about?
That was Snoopy's record.
Yeah. Oh, was that on Snoop's record?
Yeah.
Okay. Right around the same time, though.
They're playing dominoes or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then Eazy-E turns around and announces to the world, the first rapper ever to announce to the world that he has AIDS, and then a month later he dies.
Yeah, it was sad, man. Like, that really hurt a lot of people.
You and Eazy were never super close, but that's who brought you up.
Yeah. I got a lot of respect for him. I don't like what happened, but I gotta respect it. Like, Eazy's a street guy. He's a hustler. He was a dope boy from all accounts. You know what I mean? So you got to take the good with the bad. Like, I don't blame any of those guys for those lessons learned.
Yeah.
And I know that in my life, most things are divine anyway. So it was a path I had to go. I had to go through all of that crap to get here.
Yeah.
You know, to get to this moment where I can be strong enough with a clear enough mind to change the world, you know, if I so desire it.
I talked to Yella. I also talked to BG Knockout. Yella said he was the only person from NWA to show up to the funeral. You were the only one that showed up to the funeral out of the group.
Yeah.
That seems kind of strange. I mean,
some people probably just can't take it. Couldn't, actually take it. You never know. I don't know what the reasons they are. We never talked about it, even to this day. That subject can never get talked about.
Did you show up to the funeral?
No.
Why?
Eric and I weren't that close, bro. Like, I wasn't his friend. Like, they were his friends. Like, I grew up with this guy and I knew,
Okay.
our time was pretty short together. We spent maybe 3 years around each other. And
how did Dre feel about the whole thing when he heard the news? Because they were super close. Like, him and Eazy, I heard, were
I think he was really hurt.
running partners.
I think he was super hurt, but Dre never shared those things. When things happen, and I don't like talking about Dre because he don't like it, but when things happen in Dre's life that's really tough, he separates himself from everybody.
Right. Like the death of his brother.
Yeah. He just, and so only a select few people are ever around him to experience those moments. And I've been around sometime, but I was going through my own drama.
Yeah.
During that time, and Dre and I weren't as close as we had been.
How do you feel about all the conspiracy theories about?
I don't really get into all of that. Like, in my mind, there's a purpose for everything, bro.
Okay.
And those things happen only the way that they could have happened, and for a reason.
When you talk about the conspiracy theories of it, I think what really got all these things going was when Suge made the joke.
See, if somebody gonna do something about it, see, technology is so high, right?
Right.
So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. So the kids, you don't want to go to jail forever, right? So they got this new thing out there. People sell them all the time. They got this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it.
Oh,
so
well, that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
Yeah.
An Eazy-E thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably just a sick ass joke. Like I told you about the pissing on people's legs. He thought stuff like that was funny. He really did. You know what I mean? And like I said, sick joke, because like life and death is nothing to play with, and it's certainly nothing to fucking joke about. And Eazy may have done wrong, but he did a lot of good.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, and he made a way for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you could say there would never be any NWA if it wasn't for Eazy.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
You could say, well, they were so talented they would have blown up anyways. That's not how it works in the music industry.
No.
There's so many talented people out there that never get a shot.
Eazy did a whole lot.
Yeah.
and he received a whole lot. But he was certainly one who fancied the ladies, you know.
Yeah.
He loved
Yeah.
them. And
Had a
they
lot of
loved
kids.
him.
Had like, what, 10 kids?
Oh, no, but he had a lot of them.
Yeah, had like 10 kids. I talked to one of his daughters recently. Yeah,
Beautiful kids, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love his kids. Little Eazy-E, I talked to him a lot.
Yeah, I've interviewed him before.
And I really want, like I want to help him do something one day. Like if I can ever get my thing to fly, I want to help Eric do something.
Absolutely. When you look at what you helped create, when you look at the legacy of NWA, on one side, you have what it did for the West Coast. You did what it did to the genre of hip hop. And you know, you look at the family tree of NWA, and it's incredible.
It's pretty amazing.
I mean, to the Kendricks of today,
Yeah, man.
all that, to the Eminems, all that comes from what you guys built together. But there's also the other side of it. NWA wasn't technically the first gangster rap group, but they were the most influential gangster rap group of all time. And when you look at the effects of gangster rap, and I've talked to people about this. I talked to Alonzo about this. He said,
so the ratio of gangbangers to civilians was minuscule in the early 70s and early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, okay? Right after NWA, now I've been in the club business all this time, and I stopped making records. Went back to my second career, which is nightclub owner. What happened was NWA and gangster rap made gangster lifestyle cool. So the ratio started to change. Everybody was a gangbanger. It used to be 5% gangbanger, okay? Because gangbangers, once upon a time, had a code. You just couldn't have a gun. You had to be able to fight. You had to have something to bring to the hood other than a pistol. Well, at some point in time, when the dope and the gangbanging became profitable, everybody became a gangbanger. So now you got 95% gangsters or 90% gangsters and 10% civilians. And when that happened, everything went crazy because now theaters, clubs, parking lots, the park, everything is a war zone.
yeah.
Okay, there used to be a time where there were places that you could go and you could feel safe. But when the gangster lifestyle became fashionable, the whole city became one big ass war zone.
How do you look at that and that effect from the music that you guys helped build?
When I was coming up, it was coming out of that era where the four corners were peace, love, unity, and having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we're moving into the era where it's all about money. And the four corners are just money, 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 and money. The drugs have entered into the neighborhoods. The kids are seeing the guys having money. You know what I mean? It's about the money. So the glorification, for lack of a better way of putting it, of that kind of thing was popular, you know? And it's just like Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Who didn't watch Goodfellas and then want to go outside and be the good fella? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you look at the effect of Goodfellas on the Italian community versus NWA on the black community, I think you see a very big difference. You didn't suddenly see a bunch of mafias sprouting up all over America and everyone shooting each other and so forth.
Well, I wasn't talking about the communities as separate. I was talking about society as a whole.
Country as a whole.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So who's to say that just the drugs that they pumped into these kids' neighborhoods wouldn't be enough? Because there was plenty of killing and gang stuff before the music because of that money that was made by that dope.
Right. And I interviewed Freeway Ricky, and he told me how the two kind of intermixed, how when the crack, or I guess Ready Rock is what they called it back then, was getting into the neighborhoods, NWA became the soundtrack to the drug dealers.
I can
Because no one was talking about selling drugs, selling crack until Eazy-E.
But it was
not to that extent.
It was a soundtrack because that's what was going on.
Yeah.
The music didn't make the event. The event caused the music.
Or can you say it sort of went full circle and then
Absolutely.
the music?
Over and over again,
Yeah.
it went full circle, you know, and the machine doesn't help, you know. The machine pushes those guys, and you don't get a lot of Kendricks, but there's got to be a lot of them out there. It's got to be, you know. But the guys that get they seem like the most popular guys are the guys that do that. You know, no matter where they make it come from, they're all over the place, from Atlanta to New Orleans and LA, up in the Bay, Midwest. It doesn't matter where they're from. Those with that as a principal vocation, we'll say, to start off, always seem like be the guys that get all the juice, you know. But thanks to, and this is a circle of life kind of thing, just like anything else. Because from my perspective, the infusion of the Kendricks and the J. Coles and the guy from Detroit, I Don't Fuck With You guy.
Big Sean?
Big Sean. Those guys are bringing consciousness on a different level back to their production. Yeah. And even though it's not as dirty, it's kind of dirty. So the dirt that people have come accustomed to, I like it dirty. So when I drink, you know what I mean, I can feel the funk, you know what I mean? But you can listen to Cole or you can listen to Kendrick, and they got enough dirt mixed in with a message that you can fulfill yourself, you know, in just about every way you need.
So you're working on The Chronic. Should I pull up the track listing on The Chronic?
Okay.
Dre Day?
No, The Dog.
Let Me Ride?
RBX, Little DOC.
The Day the N-words Take Over?
Don't that sound like DOC?
That's you?
Yeah.
Nothing But a G Thing?
Me and the Dog.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a good one. Snoop. That was one of the first records that Snoop and I worked together on. You know what I mean? Where it was me imparting, if you will, to him the formula, for lack of a better way.
And this time you were in the video.
Yeah.
They got you in the back of the 6'4" this time.
Well, by that time, the competition phase had passed. My voice was gone.
I mean, Nothing But a G Thing was like an atom bomb when it dropped. You know, and this is why I remember I used to always have these conversations with people about Detox. And it's like, you know, they would say Detox coming out. And I said, Detox ain't coming out because Nothing But a G Thing hasn't come out yet. You know, the equivalent of it. You know, or a Still DRE has not come out yet.
Right.
And until you have that atomic bomb single, Detox ain't coming out. And I was right. Because when Nothing But a G Thing came out, it was like, wow, this sounds like the next shit right here.
Artists like Snoop are super hard to come by.
I mean, when you heard Nothing But a G Thing for the first time when it was recorded, when you were like, okay, yeah. Or was it like, maybe, maybe not?
Oh, no, man. you know. But what I knew when we wrote the record, you know what I mean? That's why I told Snoopy to put my name. I was going to make that video. Put my name right there. Dre hates that.
Well, homie,
man, why you always got your name in the
do
record?
it better.
You know what I mean? Come on, man. I got to get in how I fit in.
These Nuts was a song.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah, I think I'm in there somewhere.
Little Ghetto Boy?
Yeah.
N-word with a Gun?
Yeah.
Rat-a-tat-tat?
Yeah.
20-Sack Pyramid, you did that was you in the skit. Lyrical Gangbang?
No, that's all the crew. The young ones. But I helped them.
High Powered?
No, that's RBX.
Stranded on Death Row?
No, that's the crew again.
The Roach?
No,
That's an outro. Yeah. Bitches Ain't Shit?
Yeah. Oof. Dre's verse.
Yeah.
I'm always, man, I was all over that record. Wow.
Okay. Was your paperwork right at this point?
No.
Still paperwork wasn't
man,
right.
it's bad.
So you wrote a big chunk of that multi-platinum album and the paperwork still ain't right. Why do you think that is?
Because I'm
and Suge is your homeboy.
Yeah.
And Dre is your homeboy.
But it's not about them. It's about me. I'm drinking every day. I'm probably doing drugs every day. Mm-hmm. And so.
You were doing ecstasy back then.
Oh, yeah. One of the many things I was doing as a kid. Yeah. Trying to get away from that pain, bro. You know. Like, the struggle was being so close to it and not being able to touch it. By putting all my energy and effort into its blossoming and not being able to enjoy the smell of it.
But there was a certain degree of Dre saying, look, I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. This dude is so instrumental in what we're doing here, and this is my man, that we gonna take care of this situation.
You know what?
Because ultimately, what, they gonna say no to Dre? They gonna say no to Suge? I know they're not gonna say no to Suge.
I've heard that argument many times, trust me. But Dre is his own man, and he was dealing with his own demons, and his path was his own. My path was my own. It wasn't Dre's place to take care of a grown man, bro. Now, yes, he could have did that, and you know, and that is what it is. But I can't say, I can't sit here and say that I feel some kind of way because he didn't. You know, I was telling somebody else this the other day. I had a problem with a friend of mine who does business ass backwards to me. The protocol is all wrong. I said, look, just like I love Dre, regardless of our past, because I know Dre, and so I don't expect nothing from him because I know him, and I love him for him, regardless of what he does or don't do. You know what I mean? So the other guy, I know that his ways are a little shifty, you know, but that's just his way. He don't mean no harm by it. Okay. So I just have to love him for him. And now that I have a clear mind and a clear heart and conscience, then I can make sure my paperwork is right.
During that time at Death Row, you talked about it being so bad in the studio sometimes that shots would ring out sometimes. You said I'm sure if anyone got shot, but you're saying how fights would be commonplace?
Well,
the gang element was there?
it was pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't want to push those particular stories on you because you know, you got to save something.
Yeah.
Save something for the movie.
Right. Well, but it was in the movie they sort of portrayed it in a way.
It was a lot worse than that.
Yeah, I heard.
You know, it was pretty bad. And so sometimes the alcohol and all that other stuff, I had to have that in order to walk into that place.
It was that stressful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. For me, it was. You know what I mean?
Why was it? But Suge is your man.
Right.
That's your friend. Fuck,
right.
fuck the business shit. Like that's your friend.
Well, you know, we'll use that term as the same way when you have friends in school and you end up fighting with those guys, and the next week you're back friends with those guys. So you lose that term.
Yeah.
So Suge was the big boss, and he controlled his mob, and Snoopy was the big boss, and he controlled his mob. And Dre had his team that he had with him, but I was alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If me and Dre ain't on the same page, that means I'm alone in here.
Okay.
And so I had to always walk with that in mind. Now, nothing ever happened to me. Nobody ever
put hands on you.
Yeah, nothing. As a matter of fact, a couple of times, Suge had to, you know.
Step in?
Oh, yeah. You know, and let motherfuckers know. So I guess to answer your question is probably why Suge probably let him know.
Right.
Don't touch this guy.
Yeah.
You can't kill the golden goose, man.
Right. This guy's off limits. So the situation is what it is at Death Row. At one point, Dre wants to leave.
I don't know. I was gone by then.
You were gone by then.
Oh, yeah.
Because you and Dre had a falling out.
Oh, yeah. Me and Dre, we have a falling out every couple of years. And they're always monumental.
Okay. Was this over Helter Skelter?
No, that falling out precipitated Helter Skelter.
Was it because Dre wasn't working on the songs you wanted to put out?
It was because everybody had but me. It was because everybody had money, cars, clothes, and I didn't. And I charged him up, and
Charged him up?
yeah.
What does that mean?
We got into it beyond that, and he let me know some real truths about business, and I wasn't prepared to hear it because I was still floundering. You got to understand that if I had, I still got I can spend money anytime I want. I still live in the best houses, drive the flyest cars. It's none of it's mine,
What do you mean?
If I needed something,
the label was paying for all this, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, so they were providing. They were basically leasing everything for you, but weren't really.
No, they were. I was using Dre's money.
Oh.
If I needed some money, I just said, "Hey, bro, I need some money."
As a man, after a while, that starts to fucks you up.
Gets a little old. But I was driving his Ferrari everywhere. Wherever he lived, I lived. It was a great life.
Oh, so you actually live with Dre?
Oh, yeah. I lived with Dre most of my life. You know what I mean?
Most of your life?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
When I came out here, I lived with Dre. When he moved, I moved. I lived with Snoop for a time because me and Dre was feuding. Otherwise, I'd be living with Dre. And that's just the way it went. Even when I left Dre and came back, he called us and said, "Man, this is dumb. Come back out here. Let's get this shit back cracking." I said, "Let's go." I came back, moved right back in.
Okay. And this was after he left Death Row? Or he was getting ready to leave Death Row?
No, this is before he left Death Row. Because my explosion happened after the Chronic happened. You know what I mean? And so I came back as Snoopy was finishing his record, and then they were starting the one with Jay-Z on it.
Still DRE?
Yeah.
Okay.
During that time.
So Dre leaves Death Row, and he starts Aftermath. He invites you to be part of Aftermath?
Dre called me one day. I was working with this kid named 6'2". He said, "I want you to come help me with this thing. I'm finna go back in." Great. I got this new thing, this new kid. And so we hooked back up. This is right after Eminem had showed up. And I went over his house and he said, "I want to play you something." And he played me a record called "Just Don't Give a Fuck." And he was like, "What do you think about him?" I was like, "That motherfucker's cold, Wow, this dude is dope. And then he showed me this picture, and I was like, wow.
He's white.
You did it again. How does this happen? Because that was it. I mean, you can't get no better than that.
Oh, yeah, no. When I first heard Eminem, before Dre found him, when he put out the Slim Shady EP that I bought, it was like, he was so much better than everybody else at the time that it was like, that was
insane.
That was one of them. I think even without Dre, Eminem would have been fine.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but most of these guys, even without Dre, given the right circumstances, would have been all right, But Dre has the unique ability. He's probably the best producer the only producer that I've ever worked with that I watched produce a record. And The Genius is a great title for him in that movie because the guy is nuts,
No, absolutely.
Yeah, he's seriously nuts.
So, you guys start working on the 2001 album.
Yes.
Let me pull up the track listing. The Watcher.
No, Eminem.
Fuck You.
Don't know.
Still DRE was Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. We all tried that. Couldn't get it to work. Jay-Z cracked a lot.
Oh, so you guys were all working on Still DRE and couldn't.
I'm sure I wrote to that beat. I'm almost sure I did.
But
you know,
Jay-Z came in and nailed it.
Cracked it.
Okay. Big Egos?
I'm not sure about that one.
Explosive?
Yeah, one of my guys, 6'2".
What's the difference?
No,
Bar 1?
I'm not sure.
Lightspeed?
No.
Forgot About Dre?
Yes. No.
No, that's Eminem.
Yeah,
Next episode?
I think so.
That was a big one.
Yeah, it's one of the older titles. The next episode goes all the way back to, that's actually the song that you talked about earlier.
What do you mean?
Next episode was the answer to, well, you were talking about it in a different way, was the answer to G-Thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's Get High?
No.
Bitch? N-words?
Yeah.
The car? No. Murder Inc.?
No.
Some L.A. N-words?
I think so.
Housewife?
Yes.
Act Right?
No.
Bang Bang?
No.
The Message?
No.
Okay,
Maybe.
maybe. So you were on this album once again.
Yeah. I'm most of Dre's albums, you'll find me. I mean, because that's my base. That's my guy. So when he does a record, I want to come help him.
Paperwork right at this point?
No.
Once again.
Yeah. But I don't think it was a matter of paperwork at that point. Like, because I got the credit for the stuff that I did. And so, yeah, I guess the paperwork was right.
Okay. So at that point, you and Dre are pretty much every album he's ever done.
Yeah.
You're the collaborator on that.
I am a muse. You know what I mean? Like, I make him comfortable.
Yeah.
And he knows that if I say, you know, that maybe you should take a second look, you know.
Well, when Dre was working on Detox and everyone was asking about it, Snoop does an interview on Tim Westwood and said that Detox ain't coming out until
Till he called us back in the lab.
until DOC gets back in the studio with Dre.
Yeah.
And that never happened?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did.
You worked on
came
Detox?
back out. Yeah, I came back out in 2005 and started working on Detox with Dre. But he wasn't ready. You know what I mean? He wasn't ready. We were doing songs with a kid named Slim the Mobster.
Yeah, I know Slim.
And those early records were really good. You know, and we were working with a myriad of other young writers. And the work was good. I don't think Dre knew exactly what direction he wanted to go in or really knew what it was, he wanted to do. So, you know, none of it ever came out. A lot of it got leaked. And then that really pissed the dude off.
Yeah.
And so he went back underground after that, you know.
And it never came out.
Yeah. And I stayed around here until 2009. And we had another big to do, you know. And so I was gone again. Went back to Texas. Still, you know, in that place where the extracurricular things had the control, you know. And got another DUI in Texas.
Right.
2010, right? And this time they locked my ass up.
This is the first time you went to jail?
Yeah, for an extended period.
For how long?
It was 12 months,
Okay.
almost 13 months that I was stuck, you know. And it wasn't cool, bro. It was, now, I was actually really in a bad place because of it. It felt like, oh my God, you know. But it was actually cool, you know. there was no stress there. And the other guys was just cool with it, bro. They was happy I was there with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They were fans.
Yeah, kind of. You know, it wasn't hard. You know, most of the guys were from my neighborhood. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't as bad from that perspective, but it yanked me away from my little girl.
How old was she at the time?
I think she was maybe 6 or 7.
Okay.
And I didn't communicate with her for that whole year. And I don't know if I was ashamed or I didn't want to put that kind of undue pressure on her, you know, but I just didn't communicate with her for that year. And it stung her so bad that was one of the things that when I got out that made me know I can't do things the same way. I got to switch this thing up.
There was a time, I guess, when Dre had reached out to you to work on, I guess, 3 Kings.
Okay.
And you didn't want to work with him at that point. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
No? It was in the Playboy article. I guess Huffman got a call from Dre's people saying Dre wanted Doc to come to Miami to help him out with a song with Jay-Z and Rick Ross called 3 Kings, and Huffman explained to Dre's people that Doc was indisposed.
Well, that could mean one of 2 things. I was locked up, or something was going on that was preventing me from going there. Not that I wouldn't have gladly went and worked on the record, you know.
So in general, you've always been down to work with him.
Hey man, if a guy calls, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? No, you know, no, I don't want to work with you. I'm not gonna do that. If he calls and says, look, you know, then I take a leap of faith that this time we're gonna get it right. Because at the end of the day, man, the guy's my friend.
Yeah.
We don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but so what? You know, I don't see a lot eye to eye with Mo on a lot of stuff. Do I, Mo?
That's right.
But I still hang with him. He's all right with me.
Now, you and Erykah Badu knew each other before you guys got on.
Yeah.
So in the Dallas, it was like the hip hop Dallas.
Yeah, she was
kinda
Apples.
scene?
Yeah.
She was what?
She was Apples.
That was her name?
Yeah.
Apples?
MC Apples.
MC Apples.
Yeah.
Okay.
She used to be with this girl named TJ, and we would be in the same circles.
Okay.
You know, she's a skinny little kid. You know, but she had gorgeous eyes, even then. But she grew up to be something else, didn't she? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I remember when she came out, it was like, who is this?
Right.
Just like sonically, it was like nothing you'd ever heard before.
Yeah, she's dope.
She's absolutely dope.
But as a person, as a human being, she's probably, outside of my children, my closest friend, bro.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like, I know that person loves me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she knows that I love her. And
Well, she was your DJ in your
At that show,
at
right.
that show in
Right.
Dallas. She was your DJ.
how do you do that, right? Yeah, me, Erica's the DJ, and Scarface is the hype man. Right. How do you do that?
How do you
Who
do
does
that? Who does that?
Right.
The DOC does that.
It was cool.
So you have a baby with Erykah,
Yeah.
right? She also has kids with Andre 3000 and Jay
Beautiful
Electronica.
son.
Yep. And
With
Jay Electronica.
3000 and Electronic, beautiful daughter.
I mean, how coincidental is it that she has kids by such dope rappers? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're talking about 3 of some of the best rappers who ever did it. Like, is there ever going to be a group with your kids together? You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what, man, they can sure do it. They're talented kids. They're beautiful kids. And man, I love those kids. I've been around them my whole life, you know. Seven and Mars are both really special to me, you know, and Puma's daddy's baby, you know. And so being at home with Erykah and them kids is really, I told you earlier, you asked me if I lived in LA. Well, I'm here now, but if I had my way, I'd be at home, you know,
Yes.
with my baby, you know.
Absolutely.
She's 11 years old now, so this is like daddy time is important. So I'm trying to build myself sort of a situation I could take back home, which is what I've always been trying to do since day one.
Do you interact with Andre 3000 and Jay Electronica?
Sure, those are great friends.
Right, because you guys are all family.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's no hate in that house. Like, we all love one another and want the best for one another. And I'm a fan of both of those guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so, and they both like my music, you know, and want the best for me. If I called any one of them, they come, you know. But I'm not into that, you know. But I certainly respect them a great deal and love them a great deal and their kids.